Hello everyone, how's it going today? Back on the alien base. I know, it's getting kind of tiring. Today what I wanted to do um, is texture this particular chunk of the base. It has not been textured yet, but a whole lot more of the base has been done up now, and it's almost, while the body is almost done, it's getting there. Been actually quite a long effort on this one. I did do a little bit on the interior as well. It's not lit or anything. And basically just kind of started working on the top of the hangar area and trying to get some alignment in there. I did this already because I wanted to get the deck of the landing pad textured and stuff. So figured out replace all the blocks I wanted to replace. Now, a couple things that were brought up too is this base going to be weak or fragile if it gets hit hard with attacks and things like that? And I would honestly say no. It's the materials that it's going to be out of, plus a combination that most walls, in fact, maybe all the walls will be a minimum of 2 blocks thick. I don't think it's going to have too much trouble with that stuff. Like even on this the ceiling here, it's kind of got like a sub-layer below another layer of blocks, and I did that kind of intentionally. It allows me to get some more detail into the ceiling, but also it thickens it up. Now, so there's like a block above these other blocks that you see here. Now, granted, these are just thin blocks, but they still have a fair amount of hit points to them. Um, so I just wanted to bring that up and see what you think on how it's coming along. Now the last part here is this one corner I didn't texture yet. I wanted to do that so you could kind of see this process being done. Now that I finally got it worked out too, because honestly, it was a lot of experimentation where I didn't exactly know what I was doing or how to get it to look right, and I sort of figured that out now. So, or I'll at least figured out something I like, I should say. So to start with, I would call this first part actually like masking. Like it's gonna look terrible until I paint it, essentially. But when I paint it, it's really quick actually. So what I'm doing right now is I have this particular concrete texture which colors fairly well, and I like a little bit of the scratches and things in it. I think that fits well. So I'm kind of lining up these lines, and I've been doing it every other row just to give it some kind of definition. I didn't want to do it every row because I think it overdoes this texture a little bit. Um, but every other row seems to be pretty safe. So to start with, we'll get a bunch of this on there. And of course, I try to always align this so it's this particular texture so it's going vertically. Um, And areas like this I might have to alter somehow because I don't think that's going to line up too well. Yeah. So it's a combination of two textures. I'm still using this carpet texture as well. Or basically I'm using it because it's flat. And with concrete, I think what they're really missing is just like a flat, plain texture that doesn't have something on it. With the other range of textures, you have the metals and things like that, so that helps. Now, a couple standards that I've been doing on this texture scheme is I used a lot of these pipes and the bigger pipes and things like that. I've just been throwing one of these metal grates behind it. It gives it a border, gives it a little bit of detail there, I guess, and that's the only reason. Um, Other than that, most of the texture actually stays hidden. So then, as doing this, I go through and hit all these little parts that you can't really see. I'm going to leave the pipes for now and not texture those because those get different color and different texture. I'm trying to make this line up with rows too. This area might change a little bit, but should not get a perfectly line anyway. And still picking some custom things for the corners and edges and things like that, depending on what's going on. So, but this bottom here, I want to split this up a little bit, make it a little different. So this is another texture I've used in a few places. Sometimes when I have the option to do like a pattern like this is 7 blocks wide, I can I'll put like 3 of them down of that texture, and then I'll go maybe back to this or something and put some of those in there just for a little bit of a breakup. And of course on these end pieces here, I tend to use this a lot. Now this is something I've done with my other texture scheme too. And I use this piece because it fits and the seams line up good. And that's the main reason. But I do try to do different things with it too, you know, break it apart a little bit. I'm kind of looking for another trim piece that could look good. I've even went so far as to use something I thought I would never use, like your ceramic roofing. I don't see that on too many houses around here, but I've seen it. It's pretty cool. Alright. So here, let me get a little bit more of this done here in a minute, and then oh, that's not going to work out well here at all, though. Alright. For now, I'm going to just take this whole beam and just paint it flat. I'll try to dress it up somehow later. On this part too, I added this little block thing in front of the circle, just to see how it would come out, if it looks interesting or not. But this will give me the option to color the inside of that different than the outside, which is kind of cool, and the whole point I kind of used it in the first place. Whoops. Yeah, I got a lot of these that just aren't going to align quite right, though. But we'll see. This piece here. I'm kind of doing a little bit of this, too. I don't know. I know if you look closely at this texture, it looks like, you know, what it's supposed to look like, but a little bit of a distance in the dark color that it's I've been using it at, it kind of looks like, I don't know, a little freaky, a little alienish, I guess, maybe. Alright, now one thing I can tell you I kind of screwed up on is I intended for these big round pieces not to be concrete, but instead I'm just throwing in combat steel for now, because that's what they're eventually going to turn into anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I wanted these metal so I could use different textures on them. And that would be kind of doing this little light ring thing because it lines up the best on these on the edges. And then with the aliens, I've been using a lot of this when I can for pipes. Just kind of do some mass filling here in a minute. I know these little things like, are you ever going to see that texture back there? I don't know. Probably not, but if you're looking closely, it's nice to know it's actually textured there. Tedious, but you know, that's the thing though. It's a lot of work and it can burn you out doing this, especially if you got a lot of it to do. Um, but in the end, um, hopefully it's rewarding because should look a whole lot better. And you know, in this row actually I was using that other texture. Oh well. Okay. Now what else can be done here? So much going on here. Now, things like this too, I kind of want to add some kind of trim to the edge of this. I went with the thick round blocks on this part, which I normally use something a little different there. And let's see. Well, but this part, the painting part, is actually very quick compared to what this part is. So let's get rid of this turret too, and replace another block right here. Pop in, and again, a metal type. So I can throw in that. And concrete's still going to be cheaper, quite a bit cheaper than combat armor, or the hardened concrete will be. So that is what I'm trying to use most of the time. Oh, well, I guess we'll just color this now. Like certain textures too, I have predefined colors for. Like this particular texture here, I'm using this color with, and on the center, like the light part in the middle, I've been using that one. And I'm just trying to be consistent with all the weapon or turret mount positions on the base that way. Now this nice little strip over here, I'm kind of wanting to find something different to texture it with. I think this would be too much, probably. Or would it? I don't know. Maybe that combined with this. Yeah, let's see on these pipes. Debate whether or not I want any color here or not. And one thing I've been doing in some places is using this texture. Let me just texture that all up. And trying to get the light so they are visible kind of on the side. So what I'm going to do is just kind of rotate these blocks so the lights are more visible that way. I don't like that little strip there. Don't mind it on that side though. Alright, so these pipes here, I'll replace 2 of them. So I can get in a couple of this texture, and then the center ones I can use this here. Alright. And yeah, this edge here, I got that the wrong way. So I try to work out all this little stuff first, and then I kind of mass fill it all at once. Okay, I think we're good to that point. And inside of here, I'm not sure what this is or why, but I thought I would try something a little different on texturing there. I really do wish the stuff would line up right though, but no textures really do, so you just got to kind of deal with it being the way it is. I don't really know what to put here at all. Yeah, probably not going to see it anyway. Could do that. Okay, almost there. Now on pipe, on small pipe ends, I've been using this right now. I don't know if I like it. It's a little human looking, but I'm trying to be sparing with it. And you know that won't work here anyway. Let me check something here. Okay, so on this row here, we've got that. Looks like a checkerboard here. Oh. What I do on this edge, I guess it's just flat right now. Well, that's a neat, kind of a nice looking line there. Almost like I want to do this little part here, at least a different texture. I'll think about that. I've been throwing just occasionally, like trying to mix it up, throwing in something like that here and there. Alright, so this whole strip coming down here. What other texture I used here and there is this one. I don't know. On the other side, I really didn't do anything special there. But I think it's a little flat too, so. About just that. And then maybe a strip of this if it lines up. which it really doesn't. Partially. Alright, never mind. Line up over here. I think so, yeah. A little bit more to go on this. Alright, so this block, these blocks texture funky and they're kind of hard to texture, so I like to do replace the whole block at once, and I actually been kind of using this because you don't see much of it. I don't know if I like that either. How about that on some of the edges? Okay, and then on these, I actually been getting pretty bold and using this. And I think that. You know, I got that in the wrong material too. Probably why I was having such a problem with it. Okay, so this one, let's do replace all again with that. And put on, I guess that. Now on some of these it's really hard to texture unless you like dive into the block itself, so you can kind of see the edges, and it's not so bad. But on that it can be a chore to texture. Probably going to be a little bit plain like all the other sides were when I first did this, and then I kind of go over it again and try to find places that it can be enhanced. Okay, so I would say that is just about textured, I guess. One sec here. And how about one of these two color? I need more color on the back. Yeah, how about both of them? Okay. Alright, now painting. Pretty simple. I'm going to do a replace all on the block. This particular shade here is the base color of the base for concrete blocks, not for metal blocks. Oh, hold on, I missed a strip here. Now, so I'll pretty much do a big flood fill of this for now, and then I'm going to go through and change colors of particular textures. The insides of that. seeing some textures I missed along the way here too, like in that area. And up here, let me just do something about that a minute. Get a little more of that in there. And I've been doing a lot of strips with this too. Actually, in this case, I will admit, using the other tool set to this color probably would have worked out better. The one that does both the color and texture at the same time. To me, it kind of is like you're painting a house, you know, like you masked it off and now you're like doing the paint color where it actually starts to, you know, look decent, you know, if you like painting houses or not. I missed quite a few textures here, it looks like. At least there's another level beyond this one too, where you detail everything and kind of look at all this stuff and fix the missing issues. Alright, so now I did enough where I can start to get to a different color, so I'm going to turn this off now. And this part here, well, let's start with the pipes. Been using this shade for pipes. This shade as well for the vents. Windows I've been going dark with as well. Gotta find something better for the top of that. Okay, this inside area. With this texture, I've been actually using like just plain gray with to make it a little bit brighter because it's naturally a very dark texture. And these side pieces here, I've been using this. Gives it more of a gray tint. Same thing with those. And that. Oops. And lighten this up with one of the light color purples. Oops. Wow, what happened to my lines again? This is so weird. Did decals flip again? I had this right, I believe, the other day. It's like every time I load this game in, something's changing on me. Thought I had it right. No, they're flipped. They were right, darn it. Oh no, what did that do to all the... I updated a couple workshop creations yesterday, and now I'm scared to death. So this is the old Wayfarer, and that's fixed now. Gosh darn it, is my new one screwed up now? Oh, son of a gun. You gotta be kidding me. So I patched two things yesterday, this and the Hephaestus, fixing all the lines, and now they're all backwards. So I broke them. By going up there trying to fix it, I broke the two workshop creations with the lines. Son of a gun. Shouldn't have done anything. Didn't know there, thought it might have been a permanent change and not something temporary. Okay, well anyway, that part is textured now, and get a couple decals on here. Something I've been doing with the turrets on this particular build. So once you get kind of a routine down, it doesn't take that long to texture this. Granted, I think it needs a little more detail, and I'm kind of looking at if there's anything I could pop in here, whether it's a block, changes, or parts, or anything like that. Don't know yet. But I would say that pretty much does up the whole side of the base. And pretty much the whole exterior of the base. Now it's not finalized. I'm going to try to get some more tweaks and details in here yet. And I know I need some more parts on the bottom of this hangar, this part here, because I failed to copy them correctly from this side. In fact, I'm going to cheat on that, and we'll just grab them from this side so I don't have to redo it all. I don't want to call it cheating, but really, I just say that. And you know, if I copy that whole chunk from there, I think I'll be fine. It's got the top part already, yeah. Well, okay. Whoa, what did I just do? Didn't do something right, that's for sure. Darn it. Wait. Undo. Hey. Should have copied it all the way up. Just grab more of it this time, I guess. Probably gonna blow away the hangar door though in the process. I wanted to make sure it went down far enough to get that row of blocks. I think that's better, and yes, it did blow away the hanger door. That's okay. All right, well, guess I don't have hanger doors on me now. Oh yeah, I did. I just can't see. Hanger door color, I was kind of going with that color for those two. And I do like this purple light here too. I think that is neat by the door. So this base, I was thinking about the color scheme and light scheme and things like that of it, and I believe it is going to be probably end up using a lot of this and this, and maybe some of these over here too. Doubt I'll be using the whites or the oranges though, not with these guys. I don't know what I had the other side set to. That might be a little much there. Alright, well that went by pretty quickly. Yeah, I think it's got the look. I think everything is pretty much just a little bit more detail on the exterior. When I see things I can add and things like that. But yeah, that's the look and style. And probably the next parts of this will be getting into the interior. I'm also going to want to spawn this up in space so I can do up the bottom side of the base and texture it and stuff. I do that anyway. I know you don't see it, but I like to have everything textured. I did that with like the farm and the hangar and the other parts too. As in the floor, it is elevated one block above the ground, which is pretty cool too. I've actually liked to do this style with bases now. And it gives you room below the floor, a great place to store parts or storage units or all kinds of stuff. I mean, places you don't have to go that could be buried in the dirt, but they work. And you can access them from, you know, the floors that aren't buried in the dirt. But yeah, on the interior too, I gotta invent things yet, and I'm trying to make it different than the existing creations. So I'm gonna try to get in some different kinds of walls and angles, and obviously different texturing and things like that. But I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. Now it's another new process trying to get the interior set up and done, and that is probably the next thing I'll be working on this base. Now, one other thought I had too. This is elevated here, and I'm not going to indent the floor here because it screws up repair bays. And I want a repair bay in the center here, which would make a lot of sense. But over on this side of the base, it actually does drop down. And the window kind of follows that currently too. And I was kind of debating whether or not to go down a half block over on this side, so then I can do what I did with a waypoint hanger and make neat little edges and get some extra detail for no extra expense really. And in this case, the repair bay isn't going to be in that area, so it won't affect it. So that is something I was thinking about doing. I kind of wanted to make this area here like 2 or 3 like parking spots for like HVs or SVs or something off to the side over here. Fill that area in. Over on this side, probably your crafting stuff here, and then a floor up, probably farming. And then it's got another floor which goes to your flight deck. And then up here, it's kind of got a control room on this particular base. So I don't know, maybe get some general switches and things up in this room as like it's I don't know, flight control or something like that. No roof access, and yeah, a couple other weird things about this too, I didn't really show much before, is when getting around here, it's weird because there's like walls behind walls in some places. Like for instance, like this front piece here actually has like another wall in it that I used for doing like a lighting effect, so you can kind of like see through the front and kind of see the lights behind it a little bit. A lot of this, and especially after I fill in the interior with all the blocks to make up the walls and things like that, and if it's this, I think this is going to be a pretty tough base. The materials, the thickness of the walls, things like this, you might look at it like an overhang, like it's vulnerable, but I mean, really, this is considered solid blocks here, and it's only going, I believe, 5 blocks out. Well, maybe 6 if you count that little trim. So it's far from even being close to having structural integrity problems. Of course, I want to shore up the bottom of this base, probably in space, and make sure that everything is resting good and the support beams are centered right, so when you set it on the ground, it stays very structurally sound. And I wouldn't think this would have any kind of collapses or problems like that. Now this base did a little, well, originally it did, and this overhang was getting kind of extreme. In fact, it used to come out more than what it did, and when I was building it, I like lost like the front section of the base when I first built it, and I realized, oh my gosh, I actually ran into an SI problem, or structural integrity problem, and that's never actually happened before. Same thing with the waypoint hanger. I had to add in support beams in that one because it was a little too weak in parts of the roof. So well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I decided not to start the capital ship thing yet. Due to I got so many pending projects right now, I'm scared to start it right this moment. As I've been trying to like work on older things to get them going, and trying to get this done, and I still gotta do a little bit more work to this and build an interior for this and finish the space. So yeah, trying to get some things wrapped up before I start any new projects right now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like the base. And if you got any ideas or anything you would like to see in the base or questions about it, please let me know. Other than that, y'all have a good day. Thanks a lot.